Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the introduction as well. So I would like to start talking about body safety, and for you as a parent, on how do you approach this at home. So body safety refers to teaching children about their rights to feel safe in their own bodies, and to also empower them with the knowledge that no one has the right to hurt them or touch their private parts without their consent. It is an essential aspect of safeguarding your children from abuse, ensuring they understand their body boundaries, and encouraging open communication about uncomfortable situations. By fostering conversations with your children, you can create a safe and supportive environment for the children to share their feelings and experiences without the fear of judgment. And this also provides them with the knowledge not only just to empower the children, but also prevent abuse by creating awareness with your own children. And it is so important for you as a parent, when fostering a trusting relationship with your child, it is so essential for their emotional and psychological well-being when children feel they can trust you as their parent, and more likely to share their thoughts, concerns, and experiences, including when they feel unsafe or uncomfortable, especially with certain people, for instance, aunts, uncles, grandparents, people that do live in your house, or close family members as well. And ownership of their bodies. A key element of body safety is helping children understand that their bodies belong to them, and that they are the ones in control of who can touch them and when their bodies can be touched. Children should know from a young age that no one, including family members, friends, or adults, has the right to touch their bodies without their permission, especially in areas considered private, which are typically covered by underwear or a swimsuit. It is important to explain that their bodies are special and deserve respect by reinforcing that they have the power to say no if someone tries to hurt or touch them inappropriately. So how can you as a parent teach your child about taking ownership of their bodies? The most important one is having an open conversation. Begin by naming the body parts correctly, including private parts, to reduce any shame or embarrassment for your child. Explain these parts are private and they can decide who touches them, except in situations where a caregiver or a doctor needs to assist them for medical reasons. Respect and boundaries. So to reinforce the idea that it is okay to say no to any touch that makes them feel uncomfortable, even if it's from someone they know. Empower your child by letting them know they should never keep uncomfortable situations a secret, no matter what anyone says. And we do often see this as well, where in cultural and in different cultural settings, where people do force their children to sit on a grandparent's lap or sit on your uncle's lap, hug them. When a child does feel uncomfortable, it is your job as a parent for your child to feel safe, to tell you, I'm uncomfortable with touching this person. So that is very important for you as an adult, to create that safe space for your child to be able to tell you that. And teach the difference between safe and unsafe. Help your child understand the difference between what is a safe and loving touch and those that are inappropriate or harmful. Role-playing different scenarios can make this concept clearer and easier for your children to understand. And you as a parent, you can teach this to your child from a very young age. Encourage reporting. Encourage your child to report any uncomfortable situation to a trusted adult. Let them know that it is always safe to talk to someone they trust, and they should keep telling adults until someone helps them. Because a lot of the clients that we also see, the parent is not the first person they disclose to. It is always someone at school or another professional. Parents don't create a safe environment for their children to be able to tell them something has happened. So safe and unsafe touches. Educating children on the difference between a safe and unsafe touches is a key part of body safety. Where safe touches like hugs from family members, a pat on the back, or a high five make children feel cared for and comfortable. These touches show affection and respect. In contrast, Unsafe or inappropriate touches make children feel confused, scared, or uncomfortable. This also includes the touching of private parts or any touch that the child doesn't want. So this is where it is also important for you as a parent, if your child does feel uncomfortable with a certain adult touching them, believe them. And we will go more into detail on how you should react as a parent when a child does tell you that. And especially if a touch feels wrong, they can say no and move away from the situation. So the importance of saying no. One of the most empowering tools a child can learn is the ability to say no when they feel uncomfortable. Children need to understand that it is okay to refuse any touch, request, or behavior that makes them feel uneasy, even if it's from someone they know or trust. By encouraging your child to use their voice confidently, they learn that their feelings and boundaries are important, and you can also role play the scenarios to help your children by saying no in various situations so that they feel more comfortable when it's necessary. And you can also teach your child these exercises, especially with friends at school, where they can say no if something at school or in another social setting where they do feel uncomfortable for them to say no. Recognizing and reporting uncomfortable situations. It is so crucial for children to recognize when a situation feels wrong or when someone violates their body safety. They should understand that it is not their fault and they need to tell a trusted adult about it immediately. Emphasize to children that even if they feel scared or worried about getting into trouble, it is always right to speak up. Parents can explain that if the person they tell doesn't listen, they should keep telling until someone helps them. This way, children are empowered to seek support they need to stay safe. And especially with their friends at school, teach your child to stand up. Teach your child to report, even if they see something happen at school, for them to be empowered to report that they saw this happening to another friend. Secrets and surprises. So children often get confused about the difference between what is a secret and what is a surprise, especially when the abusers manipulate them into keeping inappropriate behaviors hidden. It is important to teach children that secrets about touches or actions that make them feel uncomfortable is never okay. In contrast, a surprise is something positive like a birthday party or a gift, and it is only kept quiet for a short period of time. And parents can help children understand this difference and assure them that they should never keep secrets about someone hurting them or making them feel unsafe. What to look for? So there are several signs that parents can look out for that may indicate their child has experienced some sort of inappropriate behavior or abuse. And these signs can be physical, emotional, or behavioral, and it is important for you as a parent to be vigilant, as children may not always verbalize their experience to you. And here is some key signs that you can look out for. So for physical signs, so if a child comes home, they have bruises, cuts, or unusual marks on their body, especially in the areas of that is covered by clothing. And when a child complains to you about pain, itching, or discomfort in the genital areas, or difficulty walking or sitting. And then also, if the child comes to you and there's unexplained blood on the underwear or discharges from the genital areas. Also, if a child comes to you with frequent stomach aches or headaches, these can sometimes be a physical manifestation of emotional distress. For emotional signs, if a child has unexplained anger, withdrawal, anxiety, or depression, these can be signs that the child has distress, and it can be related to abuse. If there's a drop in the self-confidence or frequent expressions of worthlessness, fears of being left alone, or specific people, places, or situations. So with children that have been abused, they are so traumatized by certain places that they've been to where the abuse might have occurred, or with certain people, they do show their discomfort. Trouble falling asleep, frequent nightmares, or bedwetting. And then we do have the behavioral signs where a child acts younger than their age, such as thumb sucking, bedwetting, or clinging to the parents. So this is also if this didn't happen before and suddenly the child's behavior does change. If the child has outbursts of anger or frustration, especially if this behavior is new or unusual, inappropriate knowledge of sexual acts, acting out sexually with other children, or sexual play beyond their age level, and difficulty concentrating, a drop in grades, or reluctance to go to school. Loss of interest in hobbies, spending more time alone, and avoiding special or social interactions like birthdays. A sudden unwillingness to be around a specific person, or a strong reaction when that person is mentioned in conversations in the household. Becoming unusually secretive or defensive when asked about certain activities or people. So for you as a parent, the things that you should not do when a child discloses: do not panic or show anger. Reacting with extreme emotions like anger, shock, or panic can frighten the child and may make them feel as if though they've done something wrong. And it is important to remain calm no matter how difficult the situation is, so that the child can feel secure. Do not blame or question the child's actions. Never suggest that the child is at fault or question why they didn't stop the abuse or report it sooner. Avoid statements like, "Why didn't you tell me earlier?" or "What did you do to make this happen?" If you do pose these questions to a child, this can make the child feel responsible for the abuse. And never promise to keep the abuse a secret. It is essential that proper steps are taken to ensure the child's safety, which may involve informing professionals. Let the child know that you will take action to protect them. Do not dismiss or minimize the child's experience. Avoid downplaying the seriousness of what the child shared. In a lot of the cases where it is a family member that abused the child, when a child does disclose this to a parent, the parent does downplay this quite a lot, where they say, "Did this really happen? Did this uncle really touch you? Or is it this bad? It wasn't that bad, and are you sure what happened?" So that can also make a child feel like they're not being believed, causing further emotional harm and trauma to the child. Do not push for detailed information. So while it is important to listen to your child, do not press the child for details about abuse. Asking too many specific questions can overwhelm them and complicate any legal investigations. Instead, allow the child to share what they are comfortable sharing with. And do not confront the alleged abuser. Avoid confronting the person the child identifies as an abuser, especially within a family setting. You get so angry, and that is why we say keep calm, don't overreact, because if a child discloses that it is a family member, sometimes parents do overreact, and then it creates a lot of violence as well, and especially it may put the child in more danger as well. So let professionals and authorities handle this matter. So when a child discloses abuse, it is crucial for the parent not to take the role of the investigator. Because a lot of the time we do see where a parent thinks that they are now going to investigate this. And this overwhelms and confuses a child, asking all of these detailed questions, and it can cause them to withdraw or doubt their own memory of the events. And this may also implicate when you do take your child to a professional where the children do not disclose all of the events. And additionally, for parents, probing may unintentionally influence the child's recollection, which can complicate legal proceedings, and investigating on their own can make the child feel responsible for providing proof instead of being supported emotionally. So when a child discloses, what should you do as a parent? You should create a safe space for your child for the discussions. So create a calm, non-threatening environment where your child feels safe to talk. Avoid showing anger or panic, as this may cause the child to shut down. Ask open-ended, non-leading questions such as, how are you feeling? Has anyone made you feel uncomfortable? Is there something you want to tell me? Let the child know that they can talk freely without fear of being punished. If the child thus discloses something concerning, listen without interrupting or asking probing questions. Reassure your child. So when your child discloses, tell them, I am glad you told me, this is not your fault. I believe you and I will do everything to protect you. It is important to validate their feelings and let them know that they did the right thing by speaking up. Seek professional help. If abuse is suspected or confirmed, immediately seek help from professionals. Contact a trusted healthcare provider and have the child examined by a doctor or check for any physical harm. Contact a social worker or a counselor. It is essential for both the child and the family that an organization get involved, such as the Teddy Bear Foundation, and also reach out to child protection organizations such as CMR, RATA, or Tutela, or even Childline, to make sure that the child does get the necessary guidance and support. Report the concern. It is your legal duty as a parent to report the situation to the authorities. So this can be done at your closest police station, where you file a report, or with a social worker that are trained to handle child abuse cases, or a child protection agency. Provide continuous support to your child. Even after reporting the abuse, continue to offer emotional support to your child. Let them know that they can come to you with any concerns in the future. Keep communication open and ensure they feel secure and loved during difficult times. By taking these steps, parents can ensure their child receives the care and protection and support needed to navigate a concerning or harmful situation. Then I also just want to mention something. If you don't create a safe environment for your child, and this is not just with if something happened with like abuse, in general, if your child do not feel safe at home because you shout at the child if he's done something wrong, or if there is verbal abuse happening at home, where you degrade the child at home, the child is not going to feel safe, even for disclosing any abuse. So this is so much important for you as a parent in general to create a safe space for your child and to make them feel comfortable with talking to you and creating that open communication with your child. So child-on-child harmful behavior. So child-on-child harmful behavior refers to a situation where there is one child that engages in inappropriate, aggressive or harmful actions towards another child. And this can include bullying, physical violence, verbal abuse, or even sexualized behavior that is inappropriate for their age. And these behaviors may also arise from a various of factors such as exposure to violence, trauma, or a lack of understanding of boundaries. And what does it look like? So child-on-child harmful behavior, it can be repeated aggressive actions like hitting, pushing, name-calling, or social exclusion. Sexual behavior like engaging in sexual activities that are not age-appropriate, such as touching private parts or coercion of the sexual play. So this also happens where children play doctor. There is a new name that's now where they play the parent and child role. Physical aggression, hurting another child through hitting, biting, or other forms of physical harm, using hurtful words, threats, or intimidation to control or harm another child. So if something like this do come up at home, where you caught two children playing this inappropriate game where they were touching each other's private parts, this is what you should not do. Do not dismiss or minimize the behavior. Avoid downplaying harmful actions as it's just a phase or kids being kids. Harmful behavior needs to be taken seriously and addressed appropriately. And do not blame the victim. Never suggest that the child on the receiving end of the harmful behavior is at fault. Both the children need support and guidance, but blame should not be placed on the victim or actually on the other child as well. While consequences are important, avoid harsh punishment or the punitive measures. Focus on teaching and guiding your child to understand the harm they have caused or how to repair the relationships. So what parents should do is remain calm and supportive. If you discover that your child was involved in harmful behavior, either as the victim or the perpetrator, stay calm and offer support. Reassure your child that you will work together to resolve the situation. Address the behavior immediately. If your child has engaged in the harmful behavior, talk to them about why it is unacceptable and explain the impact of their actions. Set clear boundaries and consequences. Then also seek professional help. If a behavior is severe or ongoing, consider seeking professional guidance from a therapist or a counselor to address underlying issues that may be contributing to the harmful behavior. Have that open communication with your child. Encourage them to talk about their experiences that they may be having at school or with friends, or let them know that they can always come to you if something is wrong. So once again, it is so important for you as a parent to remain calm in these type of situations. Overreacting with harsh punishment can have a significant emotional and mental impact on the child, where it does create shame, confusion, and even fear when the child, and making the child reluctant to communicate openly in the future. So what does it look like? So imagine two children are playing together and one child starts touching the other child's private parts. The child being touched feels uncomfortable but isn't sure on how to react, as they both are young and may not fully understand boundaries yet. This situation can be very confusing for both the children, especially if the children engaging in the inappropriate behavior may have been exposed to similar actions elsewhere or doesn't know it's wrong. And as a parent, you become aware of this incident, and it is important for you to address it calmly and carefully. You should sit down with both his children separately if needed. So this is if the children is cousins or and this happened in your household. Explain that no one should be touching private parts, and reinforce the importance of body safety rules. It is crucial not to overreact, shame, or punish harshly, as both children need understanding and guidance. Keep communication open and seek professional help if needed. Thank you very much.